Nintendo has a hit on its hands. The wild popularity of augmented reality game Pokemon Go is helping lead Nintendo shares much higher. In fact, on Monday, the stock surged by around 25%, making it the highest one-day gain since around 1983. So, let's talk about this with Mark Spoonhour, the craze that is Pokemon Go. He's the editor-in-chief over at Tom's Guide. So, Mark, why is it so popular? I guess I know that Pokemon is popular. I know that Pikachu is like an iconic figure. What's the game all about?
I think part of the reason why it's so popular is because of the Pokemon franchise, and there's been a big lead up to this game. But it is also they're folding in augmented reality and the fact that you can catch Pokemon while you're out and about. So you see the real world view overlaid on your camera, and you see these Pokemon around you, and you're able to capture them and then go to different places like landmarks and train them and fight them. So they've done a really clever job of combining the virtual world and the real world.
All right, so it's an interactive game. We've seen this kind of thing not as much before, but similar types of things in the past with previous generations of video games. This is clearly a win for Nintendo. I mean, clearly, the stock says it all. But it's not solely a Nintendo game. It's just not Nintendo only. There's a Niantic, right? They're the game maker, the kind of the app developer, if you will. What's the relationship between, say, a Nintendo, a Niantic, and other people involved? It's not just Nintendo that's benefiting from this.
That's right. So you have Niantic, which is the developer, and they were spun off from Google, and they were also responsible for a very popular game in Ingress, which you could say was the building blocks for this game because it had maps built in and also augmented reality. So when you add the Pokemon franchise on top, then it's huge. And that's the other entity in this case. It's the Pokemon Company, which Nintendo also has interest in. So they are directly benefiting from the success of this game, but it's not a Nintendo game, quote unquote, but they are promising other mobile titles towards the end of the year, up to 4 more. So when you add all this together, they have a lot of mobile momentum, and Nintendo has been guilty of being behind in mobile in years past.
It hasn't been that long. You bring that up, right? When Nintendo, a lot of people gave them up for dead because they couldn't get with it. They were too console-oriented. It was too much about the Wii and the Nintendo, the DS and everything else on there. So what can Nintendo do to keep up here? They've got this momentum. How can they keep up with the craze? How can they justify the billions that have been added to their market cap just because of Pokemon Go?
I think they're off to a good start because the mobile franchises that they're coming out with are unique. A lot of people are just asking, just give me Mario on my phone. But, I mean, you could run into a situation where people just grow tired of that. So I'm not saying that they're not working on that, but it's the ability to create unique experiences like they started with the Wii, they did with their Meetimo app, which had millions of downloads, and now with this. So whatever they wind up doing, I love the creative spirit that's behind what Nintendo is doing with their mobile efforts, and they need to keep that up. They need to keep innovating in terms of how we interact with our phones, and eventually with augmented reality and virtual reality headsets. Imagine being able to catch Pokemon as you're out and about with like a pair of Google glasses, or maybe what comes after that.
All right, so there's no doubt a huge success, big kind of bang coming out of the gate with this particular game. However, it's not all positive. There are flip sides to the coin here. In fact, there is a big negative already. Researchers say that they've already found malware inside some versions of this app. How concerned should users be? This is popular. It's growing like wildfire, apparently. Does that mean that people should be concerned about the spread of perhaps malicious software on their smartphones?
Yeah, it sounds like what's happening with the malicious software is that's happening on the Android side, so people need to make sure that they're downloading the official version of the app. There's also concerns about public safety because there's some bad guys in, I think it was in St. Louis, who created a beacon that basically lured players to a specific location, and they had plans to rob them at gunpoint. So the developers are saying, be careful. And I would also add, maybe just don't play alone if you're going out and about. So, I mean, that's the appeal of this game, is that you're out in the real world, you're walking, maybe it gets kids out of the house, but you have to be careful about where they're going.
All right, so it sounds like this particular phenomenon catching a lot of, gaining a lot of steam rather, but also got a few things to watch out for in terms of the negatives there. Mark Spoonhour, thank you so much for joining us. That's Mark Spoonhour. He's editor-in-chief over at Tom's Guide. And thanks for watching. I'm Dominic Chu. Have a Pikachu kind of day.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here and click on all the videos around me or the eye right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.